Hello and good afternoon everybody, and welcome back to another video of DIY investing. During this cycle in 2017, I had the opportunity to trade alongside some of my two best friends throughout the entirety of the last cycle. We were able to bounce awesome ideas back and forth off each other, and one of the things that one of my friends taught me was a strategy called channel trading. My friend was able to maximize this strategy and take $5,000 and turn it into $147,000 over the course of 4 months in the last cycle. So I wanted to share this with you guys in hopes of helping to develop your guys' tool bag a little bit further with a strategy that has worked for me in the past. If you guys want more awesome content like this, do myself a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel. Get more awesome analysis by clicking the invitation link in the description of this video, and then you're going to get access to my Discord server. Alright guys, let's jump right in the video today. Alright guys, so to start off this video, we're going to be taking a look at one of the older altcoins. It's one of the old ones that's been around since 2014, in the last bear market, and even the last bull cycle. And so this one is Dogecoin. Dogecoin is probably the ultimate channel trading coin because it follows the channel trading strategy really closely. Now you're not going to be able to find this strategy with all coins, and let alone all pairs. So what I mean by that is you're not going to do as many channel trades when you're trading on the dollar pair as you would with the Bitcoin pairs, because generally when I channel trade in the strategy that I'm teaching you guys today, you're going to stick to bigger time frames, either the daily, 3-day, weekly time frame. Something above the daily, I would assume, is generally what you're going to stick to. Now, the thing about these channel trades is they perform much better on Bitcoin pairs because Bitcoin pairs kind of paint the same fractals. Oftentimes you'll go through these cycles where you'll have big pumps. The altcoins will gain a lot of dominance, and so they'll go parabolic. And then Bitcoin will make its run and it'll bleed the alts. And so you'll have these big pump and dumps all the time happening on the Bitcoin pairs. And so Dogecoin is a prime example of how you can be consistent with channel trading, because you can see here that we have multiple times where we make these massive pumps. We have these big full retraces, sometimes even breaking all-time support. Then we have these big pumps, and this just kind of happens all the time. And we've seen this happen since 2013 when Doge was first added to the market cap. Now, when I'm playing the channel trading strategy, it's important to know exactly kind of where to buy and how to place your trade. And so the way that I look at this is by first analyzing exactly where the low points in the cycles were right before we had a massive parabolic run. So our low points were right over here. We had a low over here. We had a low right here. We had lows here. And we had lows here. We had a low here. We had a low here. And now we're still working on the low right now, so I'm not going to mark that. But then you come through and you draw some horizontal support zones. Now, the best way to start this is by taking a look at your lowest support levels. And you're really just trying to get the most significant confirmation. So the most points in which price makes contact with that zone, then you can say that the stronger that zone gets. But the best way to go about this is by marking the absolute bottom. So at about 16 sats, that was our lowest point that we ever hit. Let's actually zoom in here a little bit more so it's easier to see. So that was our lowest point. And now if we come up here, the name of the game is really to find as many points that are coordinated as you can. And that's where you're going to be looking to accumulate and start adding to your positions. Okay, so this is what I have drawn here. Now, we've hit a couple lows in this area. We've had a confirmation once, twice, 3, and 4 times. Now, we've had pumps outside of that, which is why you can play channel trades in a number of different positions. So we've seen price react to this level multiple times. We had a bounce here, we had a bounce just under that, then we had a bounce on top of it here for a big impulse. And so you can play these channels like so. You're just trying to find the most congruent data where price has reacted to that level and produced a bounce, and then you're trying to accumulate in those areas. Now, one of the strategies that I want to say here is if you are a believer in cryptocurrency and you actually believe that we're going to have a couple more cycles where these altcoins are going to rally and you're going to be able to make some profits, then honestly you shouldn't be too worried about averaging into positions without running a stop loss. Now, I know that that's kind of a strategy that's frowned upon in a lot of ways, But with this channel trading strategy, and a lot of times with these altcoins, you just see these big pump and dumps. And so sometimes it can be a little bit harder to trade with a stop loss when it might drop down a little bit due to the volatility that happens at these low points. Whereas what you can see here is we've had these low points in price, but every time we've hit these lows, we have a massive parabolic run on the upside. So it does leave you an opportunity in a window to be closing out your trades and taking those profits. And so this is why I a lot of the times trade and just average into a position without a stop. It's a lot more risky, but when there's a lot of fear in the market, I believe that that's the best time to be accumulating. And so I have less of a fear when doing so, just because I've been able to trade these cycles a few different times. Now, some of you guys might call me out and say that that's terrible trading, and it might be to the average person that sees this video. But for me, I've been able to profit using this strategy, and I know that this cycle is going to be a lot bigger than the previous ones that we've seen. And so this leaves us a lot of room to be profiting. Now, what I mean by saying all of that is just the fact that it's okay if you take positions at these low support levels and continue to just add to your positions and average in, even if it goes a little bit lower. Because generally what happens with these channel trades is you'll have some bullish divergence that'll show up. Dogecoin does less bullish divergence setups than some of the other channel trades that I've seen out there, but it does set it up quite a bit. So we had one right here that would have predicted the bottom. We had one right here that would have predicted this big bottom for that hype cycle. We had one right here that would have predicted this bottom. And then we have one currently forming right here. Now, I don't know how this is going to stay. It looks as if we might drop off and make one more leg down. If that happens, I would like to continue to hold a higher high on the RSI, because that would point that this channel trade is in effect, and it would be a very excellent time to be accumulating. And so this is kind of the way that I play this strategy. I use bullish divergence, and then I use horizontal support and resistance. Now, this is the way that I buy into something. So I have these horizontal support zones. I make my targets as follows. You guys' trading plan might vary, and so you might draw your horizontal channels a little bit different. It's all to your own specific needs and purposes. So I just want to make that clear. Everybody has a different trading plan and strategy, and so I'm just sharing you guys with kind of how I play this. Now, once you've accumulated this, we can see that prices have reacted to this level and always produced a bounce thus far. Now, what I'm watching right here is where we could potentially look to take profits when that trade goes parabolic, which we expect it to do so. And so from here, we're going to be taking this, and let's make it red so we know that this is our selling and our resistance. And so now we're going to be looking and finding exactly where all of the points in which prices got knocked down and sold off from. And so we've had resistance here. We've had resistance here. We've had it here. Had it there. We've had it. I mean, you can count wicks if you want. You can count candle bodies. It really doesn't matter. Like I said, it's all your own trading plan. And so this is kind of where we've seen resistance, right? And so what you want to do is just the same as what we did down here. You're trying to find the most reactions where price has hit a certain level and produced a reaction. So in this case, we have a reaction once, twice, 3 times. We hit it 4, 5, 6 different times. We've hit this level 6 times, and we've had a sell-off from that level once, twice, 3, 4, 5 different times. And you could count this 6, but we had a little bit stronger of an impulse that took us a little higher in this blow-off top phase. And so for here, this is a perfect area to take profits, because we can see that prices have bounced and reacted to this level 5 to 6 different times after we've hit these low support levels and then bounced from that, right? And so this is how the channel trading works, and I wanted to point this out. Now, the cool thing about Bitcoin pairs is they paint these fractals. For example, this pattern, so from right here, this point where my crosshair is going up, all of this to the left is one cycle. All of this is to the left is one cycle. Now, all of this from my crosshair over to the right is a new cycle, and they're following the same one. So this big parabolic run right here is the same as this parabolic run right here. Even though this one was smaller, it's showing the same fractal. So what I mean, we had a bottom here, we had our first run followed by our first full retrace. Same here. Bottom, we had our big run followed by a full retrace. And so right here is the same as here. And so from those lows, we impulsed. From those lows, we had our first impulse. and that was our first rejection. And so based off the cycle, we had our next sell-off that took us down to this support level here, same sort of thing, and then we had our next reaction. And that took us to our next reaction. This reaction didn't go as high as this one, but not all cycles are going to behave exactly the same. And now we're selling off from that. And so in my opinion, we're finding the bottom that is close to about right here. Because if we take a look here, we saw that prices bounced from this support level and got a reaction, and then sold off a little bit below that same level. And so that's kind of what we saw here. We had a sell-off, prices bounced from that support level, and now we're selling off through that just a little bit. And so in my opinion, we're about right here before we have this impulse that I think is going to take us just a little bit above this resistance level. And we could see something, maybe we could see something hitting a little bit higher, maybe up here. Now I'm not going to try and call that. I would say that my targets would be these three right here for scaling out of this next move, because I do expect that we're about right here in the cycle before we have this coming impulse. Now after that impulse, we'll have another prolonged sell-off, most likely, just because these cycles generally stick to the same rules and they follow pretty closely to the last cycles. And so this is kind of the way that I trade. I look at fractals, I can see fractal analysis, I can see how the market cycles behave almost identically. And so then I'll throw that on combined with horizontal support and resistance channels, and it really helps me to find good targets, good entries, and a good trading plan where I can just kind of scale into a position over time, and then I can scale out when it goes parabolic. And I can really just kind of add to my positions. Since I'm not running a stop loss, I can just set my sell targets, and then I can just be waiting and don't have to pay a lot of attention. I can have this trade going on an account I don't pay a lot of attention to, and then I can still get filled on that happening later down the line, and I don't have to be watching it all the time. And so this, guys, is the strategy I had for you. This is called channel trading. It's an awesome strategy that one of my best friends created, and so I figured I'd share it with you because it was one of the most profitable strategies. Remember at the first of the video, I talked about how this certain friend took $5,000 and turned it into over $147,000 over the course of about 4 months, and it was all through doing just about this exact strategy. So with us coming to these lower critical support levels, I wanted to talk about this because I believe it's a very excellent time to be buying Dogecoin and looking for other altcoins that follow this pattern. I mean, XRP is another example, but there's so many altcoins specifically on the Bitcoin pairs that will follow this, and you'll be able to trade this pattern. Now, even if there isn't a full last cycle to go off of, what if it only looks like something like this? Now, if it looks like something like this, really you're just going to be playing it similarly, only you don't have as much price data, right? And so this was the critical low here, this was another critical low, and then we saw bounces right in this level. And so the levels stay the same no matter what. You would have stayed the same in this trade. It only helps when you have more data to make that confirmation with your analysis. And so you're going to find a lot of market cycles that are only going to show up about this much data, and that's fine. You're going to play the strategy the same. What I want to point out is to look out for bullish divergence on the RSI, look for big term or larger time frame trading, 1 day, 3 day, 1 weekly time frame. And that's how you're going to find the most success channel trading. You can use stop losses if you prefer. I don't necessarily do it all the time, but there are occasions where I do implement a stop loss. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for the support. Please leave this video a like, comment, and subscribe to this channel if you're new. If you're watching this video and like this analysis, click the invitation link in the description of this video, and there you're going to get access to my Discord server. Anyways, guys, I will catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.